A very good evening to everyone present here today. We have all gathered here for a solemn occasion. We have actually been saddened by the news of the demise of our former Vice Chancellor, the founding Vice Chancellor of the ICFAI University, Meghalaya, Professor Y.K. Bhushan. Those of us who have actually had the opportunity to meet him, to know him, interact with him, will actually know what a loss it is to the university to have actually, you know, and also to come to terms that he is actually no more with us. I, at a personal level, do feel very sad because I feel he was a father figure to all of us, and he's not there with us today, and it's difficult to come to terms. I would like to request all of you to kindly observe 2 minutes of silence in honor of departed soul. I request everyone to bow down your heads in 2 minutes of silence. Thank you.
48 hours back, when we received the shocking news of the passing away of Professor Bhushan, we were deeply shocked. And now, at this moment, we are meeting to honor the noble soul, his memory, and his contribution to the academic world. Professor Bhushan has dedicated 6 decades of his life towards the promotion and advancement of academic, particularly in the field of management studies in our country. He was a recipient of many awards. One of them, I mentioned here, was the latest Global Game Changer Award. It was bestowed upon him by the World Education Conference of Asia 2018. Now, most of us here who are here today will always remember KB, as we called him, as an also human person. He was also human. Why do I say that he's an also human person? Because of his care, his strength, guidance, his motivation, and all that combined with a very good sense of humor. He always has a smile for each and everyone with whom he comes across. He spoke very softly and gently. Now, to all of us at the university, he was who guided us to achieve our goals. Personally, when I took charge as the Vice Chancellor of the university after him, he gave me this one assurance. Dr. Nisha, I will always be there with you. Any point of time you need help, feel free to call, feel free to write. I'm always there. And true to his words, he had been there. He had successfully steered the ship of the university, particularly in the years of 2010 and 2012. And he steered us as the captain. And we are what we are today because of that. Now, there are not enough words to describe a person of his stature, but this is with certainty. Professor Yadukul Bhushan had left his indelible footprints on the annals of the ICFAI University, Meghalaya. And he was and will always be remembered as an accomplished nation. May the noble soul of him and of his beloved wife rest in peace.
From the unreal, lead us to the real. From the darkness, lead us to light. From death into immortality. This is a quote from the Atharva Veda. The Book of Mormon says, "Ye shall never endure pains of death, when I come in my glory. Ye shall be changes in the twinkling of an eye from mortality to immortality. It is inexplicable for the ICFAI University Meghalaya family to accept the passing away of Professor Y.K. Bhushan. Professor Bhushan will forever be remembered in the annals of the university as an able administrator, a capable leader, a great educationist, and a champion for the growth and development of the university. An astute professional that he was, he could foresee and guide everyone towards their goals, particularly in terms of building the university at its nascent stage.
I had the privilege of working under him as the Pro-Vice-Chancellor of ICFAI University, Meghalaya, for 5.5 years. During my tenure as the Pro-Vice-Chancellor of ICFAI University, Meghalaya, while working with him, I have found him to be very affable, very courteous, and friendly. It was easy to work with him. He was always there to help in a problem that we put forward before him. I had a number of times that came across and to the point where I don't know how to go forward. I wrote to him and he always promptly replied in a positive way. So in that way, in the hour of difficulties that I faced in starting the campus in Tura, he was there to be with me, to be my guide. And that is why I always felt that he was really a father figure in the establishment of this university, ICFAI University in Meghalaya.
In fact, is a great institution builder himself. The academic world today has lost a great personality. The country as such, I feel, at least personally. That's my feeling about him. And as far as my association with him is concerned, I knew him from the year 2003 when he had taken over IBS Mumbai. After relinquishing the heading of the NMIMS at Mumbai. And from then onwards, our interaction has been very, very close. While attending the Dean's Council's meeting, etc., we were very, very close. Somehow, I was quite inspired by him, quite motivated by him, because at that age, he used to be full of energy, full of enthusiasm. You ask him anything, he had an answer. That's the kind of thing I used to tell him all the time, sir, you are my role model, you are my inspiration. At least 10 to 15 years ahead of me in life, you can do so much. Why can't I do myself? So that is the kind of inspiration I took from him, and I moved on. And he always loved whatever little I was doing, I was sharing with him, and he always loved it and guided me like a father figure in the academic world. If I had grown anything, if I had grown in the academics, though I don't belong to the academic world originally, but some kind of a teacher by default, he was always there to encourage me. Whenever he used to see my work, he used to comment upon it and encourage me. Sir, you've done a good job, or you do this way, that way. He always used to encourage me, because I always used to share my works with him. Whether it is articles, whether it is research papers, whether it is books, everything I used to share up with him. And it was during the end of the year 2004 when my interaction with him became pretty close when I was asked to head the international conference at Mumbai, which was held to Taj Lands End in association with SEBI Mumbai. I used to very frequently visit IBS Mumbai to coordinate the events connected with this particular conference. He was so kind. He made the entire IBS, put the entire IBS resources, be in terms of faculty, be in terms of students, be in terms of administrative staff, at my disposal. I am not mincing my words. He has put the entire institution at my disposal. And I had the benefit of taking the help of at least 15 to 20 faculty members to conduct the conference for about 3 days, attended by about 300 delegates from all over the world, and about 30 to 40 students whom I had trained and used them as anchors during those 3 days of international conference, where simultaneously 3 tracks were going on in Taj Lands End every day, 3 days. And every step he used to be there to guide me. Prasad, do this, do this, do this. Under his able guidance, I could conduct that. And even today, the faculty members who worked with me in IBS Mumbai, who are there till today, some students who meet up with me at times in some airports or some places, they do remember the kind of interactions we have had and the pleasant time we have had during that time. That was a very good memory that I shall always cherish and keep it in my heart. Now, it was an extreme, another kindness on his part was, at least as far as I am concerned, he was very kind to conduct one of my books release functions in IBS Mumbai, in association with Bombay Management Association and ISTD Mumbai chapter. That was a great event, and it was so kind of him to have conducted it despite his busy schedules, making all the resources available to me. I shall again, retain it in my heart as a permanent treasure. That is the kind of kindness he had towards me. And our association grew much fonder when he became the Chancellor of ICFAI University in Nagaland, when I took over that university as Vice Chancellor. Our friendship kept on growing, and every time we used to interact with each other and take his guidance for everything. Such a great man he was, and even now I feel my present chancellorship of Nagaland University, he was my predecessor, and I always remain indebted and grateful to him for laying down certain norms there, and which I follow religiously as Chancellor of that university.
In fact, it's a great loss for me personally. There are certain times when Mr. SSB told me, you go and take advice, go to Bombay, take advice of Mr. Y.K. Bhushan. So then I went there, took his guidance, advice, blessing, and then I took next step. That kind of respect Mr. SSB was with Professor Bhushan, and kind of closeness I had with Professor Y.K. Bhushan, SSB sir was also knowing. So even I was the first registrar of the university in Meghalaya, and I had the fortune of working very closely with him for recruitment, for discussing academics, and I learned a lot in the hotel while discussing. Absolutely a great man. So I'm happy. The word Dr. Sharma has said that he will be in peace. Certainly, he was in peace all the time while in this world, and he will be peace also in heaven. With this, I again give my respect to Professor Y.K. Bhushan.
It has been a great honor for me to know Professor Y.K. Bhushan for a very long time. He was a great educationist, outstanding scholar, and an institution builder par excellence. He was also a wonderful teacher. I have read some of his books, and under his guidance, I have attended innumerable meetings at Hyderabad and at some other places. I have also traveled with him long distances in the car when only two of us were there. So you can imagine the kind of intimacy you develop with a personality of the kind Professor Bhushan was. He was a great supporter of talent. Wherever he will see talent, he will try to nurture it. He would take people under his wings, and he treated every faculty member particularly with great dignity. You see, he particularly told me one day that all members of faculty should be dealt with utmost dignity and sophistication. Not many people may know that Professor Bhushan was also a president of Delhi University Student Union. He was a student leader of great eminence, you know. And Delhi University at that time, I'm talking of sometime in 50s, was an extraordinary seat of learning, you know. And to be the president of this university was considered to be most prestigious at that time. He told me personally that he was the president of Delhi University Students Union, you see. And with all that, I feel that he must be in peace. There is no doubt about it. But it is ritual to say that we pray for his peace and onward journey to be as remarkable as he was in his life. Thank you very much.
I got a call from him. He said, I hear that you are joining ICFAI system. I said, yes. Welcome, welcome. So soon after my joining, in one of the Dean's Council meeting, I happened to pay my respects to him. And from then onwards, even when I was holding charge of corporate communications at ICFAI, he was extending all support to me at Mumbai as Mumbai Director IBS. On the whole, I had a very, very pleasant experience with a person who was extremely jovial, urbane in his manners, very friendly disposition towards people, and a very inclusive person. He used to take all people under his shade and try to develop them according to what their capabilities are. This kind of qualities are very rare. Unless a person is a complete individual, you don't find this kind of qualities. There may be. But in Bhushan, Professor Bhushan, I found these qualities. His memories will continue to be with us. Perhaps it may guide us definitely in our future endeavors. I hope I pay respects to his soul. I can only say Om Shanti.
Privilege for me to know Professor Bhushan, and though we were young and inexperienced during the inception of ICFAI University in Meghalaya, and he inspired us. Despite our inexperience, he used to take our opinion and he used to ask for our opinion. How do you feel? And he kept on motivating and inspired us. And he said, in no time, ICFAI University Meghalaya will grow, and you will realize that you are a part of this family, the ICFAI society. And we are very proud to work under him. I remember when he addressed the media with great humility. And when we look at him, we remember that, I remember personally that he became an inspiration. And he really motivates us in such a way that and I really understand this, that he gave, like one of the members have said, that he gave respect, and he treated us with kindness, and with such his caliber, with such his his ability, his knowledge. Yet he have always been friendly, and yes, he was very tech savvy at his age also. I remember he used all these gadgets, and he used to show us about even he at his age he tell us youth about the use of technology. So these are the few words I want to say, and may his soul rest in peace, and may God be with his family.
Uh, I would just like to say at the end, before we close this session, that we as human beings, each and every one has to die because no humans can live. It is our dead are never dead actually to us until and unless we have forgotten them. And Sir is a particular person whom we can never forget. So we can always say that Sir is never gone from amongst us. The day we forget Sir is the day that we realize that Sir is actually not with us. Sir will live with us in our hearts forever as long as we remember him. And that is not the length of life, but it is the depth of life. The depth of life that Sir has taken. The depth of life that matters to us. And indeed, it is this depth of life of Sir that we need to celebrate. That when somebody, when somebody leaves us, we remember him because of the work that he has done. And Sir will forever remain with us with his works. Sir will always remain there, alive in our hearts because of the kind of love and goodwill that he spread to all of us. Thank you so much for being with the ICFAI University Meghalaya today as we pray for Sir and the family who has lost such a great person.